Okay, so let's try a few different avatars. Let's go into Space because it has pretty good lighting. Let's just move the sun a little bit. Camera is joining, so we should get a nice third-person view. Let's also pick some nice skybox. This one will work well. Oh, it's a little bit yellow. And let's import some avatars. So let's try the standard robot. So I have one in problem assets, although this shouldn't be no longer problematic. So let's import it. There we go. And I won't actually touch it. I don't want to like move it too much. That's because, as you will see, the new avatar creator, it has some new graphics, it has some new options. So you can see these two, they are actually eye references. So this is where your eyes on the character would be. So I can just position it like this. Seems right about where the eyes would be. Okay. And I can also center the position. So this will make sure it's centered with the vertical axis. And I can align the forward axis, which makes sure that the direction of the head is aligned with the headset. I won't align up because often like the head bone, it doesn't point exactly upwards. So I'm going to leave it as it is. You can also see it's now using symmetry. So you see if I actually bring these controllers. Hold on, this is still a little bit too bright. Let me pull the sound down a little bit. Oh, that's good enough. So you see essentially the controllers, they are moving in symmetry. So assuming this doesn't get moved, they should stay at the same point. Okay, so this is pretty good. And I can also set anchors. So let's enable anchors. So I can move this around here. So grouping is done around here. I can move the tip. So let's move it around. Where should it go? Let's put it in the middle of the hand. And I can also align the anchors. So now I didn't manage to position it exactly. So let's align the to anchor. And you see this aligns it with the controller. And this is pretty much, well, there's one more bit, but it's a little bit too inside. So there's the tool shelf, so I can place it here. I see it's symmetrical, or should be. So this is pretty much done. So let's hit create. And I have my avatar, so let's try it out. So see, the references are where they should be. Should be able to move around. It should be automatically walking. If I'm too high, it will fly. Or even like if I'm on the ground, let's switch the slide. If I'm on the ground and I go too fast, I start hovering. And then I will replant my feet. So the hands, they should be no longer twisting at the wrist. Of course, if you like move too much, it's not going to be, because I'm tilting the controller, but not my actual hand. But it should behave pretty well in most cases. So, oops, my file browser fell down. Okay, so let's try another. So let's try this one. This one is pretty cute. And also good for this thing. So let's auto scale it. So actually, let me show you another part. So see, this is like this wolf character, or maybe Jekyll, or I don't know. Looks maybe a little bit like Jekyll. Actually, it should be Jekyll since it's called Jake 5. So let's spawn another avatar creator. And there's another feature, and that's scaling. So I can rescale it so it fits a little bit better. So one thing I find for these is actually better to put the headset a little bit higher than the eyes, especially when there's the snout. Otherwise, like it will be too much in your face. So let me just put it like this. Around here seems fine. So let's center it. Let's align forward. This is pretty good. I think it's aligned a little bit poorly like this. Recenter forward. Let's move the controllers. Okay, this is pretty good. Let's stop anchors. Seems okay. Let's put this here and let's align. Yeah, seems good. So it's great. Oh, and this fits pretty well. Well, I haven't moved these bits, but that doesn't matter for this testing. So it should be working pretty much the same. You see this one, it's smaller. Hello, and the camera gets a little bit too close. Mhm. I can fly around. I can make a shape. I can fly on it. And you see how that automatically picks up the legs. Hello. See, seems to be working pretty fine. Zip. There we go. So let's try another, just to test wide variety, because all of the rigs are very different. So the system needs to be able to handle them. So which one? Let's try this one. This one is pretty big. So let's import it. Wait, which was? Yeah, this was the stalker. So let's use inches. Okay, there we go. This looks actually even bigger since I'm pretty small now. So let's spawn another avatar creator. Wait, oh, there it is. So let's position it. Let's make it bigger. So the eyes, they should be around there. Seems fine. Let's center the head position and forward. Maybe I should add also compensation for tilt. Because I'm not sure if it's... That is interesting. It doesn't seem the head bone is centered properly. So I'll center it like this. And I just center the forward. And let's move these giant controllers over here. Like this. Seems pretty good. Let's enable the anchors. Move this here. Move this. Actually, this is pretty good. I'll leave it as it is. Doesn't matter anyway for quick test. There we go. Let's equip this one. And I see this is a little bit in my face, so I could maybe move it forwards. Okay. But should be working anyway. And the hands are a little bit backwards. Where did the camera go? Oh, there it is. Hello. Yep. The hands feel a little bit short. Maybe the different body proportions. Let's fly up. Oh wait, this is sliding. Zoop. So, seems to be also working pretty well. I'm moving too much down. Also, you can see it tries to preserve the feed, but if I go too far, they will sort of pop through. Okay. Seems to be working. So let's try import another. Oops. Let's try something different. So let's try a 3D scan. 3D scan of my colleague. He's in testing assets. There we go. Let me actually reset my scale. There we go. Let's 3D scan. It's in meters. Let's import. There we go. This one I'm not sure how well will work because this is the hands a little bit weird. So I don't think they have proper finger bones, so it's detecting some of the axes incorrectly, since it doesn't have much to go on. So it's the kind of thing you could fix manually if you went into the components, but for the quick test I'm not going to bother. Actually, I don't want to select this. Create new object avatar creator. So it's actually a funny thing, like these two, like in VR it feels like they are too close, that our eyes are actually further apart, but as you can see it matches pretty well. Maybe a little bit short. So there we go. Let's try centering the head position, but yeah, for this one, for the 3D scans, the rigs are very messy, so I have to eyeball it. And forward is seems okay. Let's disable the symmetry so we can position each controller independently, like this, and like this. Okay. Let's enable the anchors. They're usually pretty good to enable for the uh, biped avatars, because otherwise like it gets tied to the controller and then it doesn't always have to move exactly as the hand does, especially if you extend it beyond the limits. So let's create. So this moves the offset a little bit because it's messed up, but it should work pretty fine when I equip it. Except for his hand, yeah, the rotation on this one, it's misaligned. So this is still one thing that needs to fix. But other than that, it seems to be. Let me actually grab the controller, hold it like this. So otherwise, it seems to be working pretty well, I think. I can move around. I can dance. Hello. It will work better like if we actually used a model which has fingers, because it uses the fingers to determine some of the axes for these things. Let's fly. Fly works. Zoop, zoop. Let's try fly on this cube. Yep. Seems to work pretty well. Okay. So let's try one more. Let me actually equip this one because the hands are a little bit offset. Let's try one which was very different proportions. Let's try the Sonic one. a pretty good test as well. So this one is in meters. It also has the eye bones, but I'm going to leave them. Actually, let me because I'm recording it. I'm going to open his eyes. So there's the eyelid bones, and let's just set scale to 0. So they're pretty much hidden. Okay, and now I can. Oops, and I have deleted something I shouldn't have. Did I delete my own character? Oh no, let me close this world. And let's quickly start anew. There we go. So let's try importing again. Still need to fix that deleting self bug, because that's not something you want to happen. Testing assets, game models, generations, Sonic. Okay, let's actually going to leave his eyes as now. I'm just going to test if this works. So let's put the eyes on. And this pretty much doesn't match the human proportions, so I have to. Okay. Let's center. Let's center. Oh, looks like he's. The bone is rotated. Maybe I could add some logic for it as well. Okay, let's leave it. If it's a little bit offset, it shouldn't matter too much. Okay, there we go. Let's also enable the anchors. Let's move this here. And let's align it. And let's create. Oh, his legs are twisted. Okay, so this is a new bug. This definitely didn't happen before. Okay, a new bug. Well, also I can see my nose. So I guess there's still some fixing to do, but as you can see, there's some better compatibility with avatars. There's more behavior, so it should be done pretty soon. So see you later.